Week 12's final injury report is here, and most of the key Vikings are all good to go ahead of a road game in the Windy City. And the Vikings master plan for the Bears' weapons is all in the numbers. We're going to be breaking down all of that in this episode of Vikings Digest, but first make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss any new updates surrounding the Vikings as we head into a road game against the Bears. With that, let's hop into the first topic of the day, which is final Week 12 injury report. So we see here in the final injury report for the Minnesota Vikings, yes, unfortunately Josh Oliver, after a week of not practicing with a wrist and an ankle issue, is unfortunately ruled out for this game. Gabe Murphy and Nick Mules are questionable for their return to from IR. Aaron Jones, Jonathan Bullard, they all got full practices. They're ready to go. Sam Darnold, after a foot injury scare, he's all good to go. Stephon Gilmore and Harrison Smith got their rest. So really, nobody is ruled out aside from Josh Oliver, who is having a career year for himself. But Gabe Murphy and Nick Muse being the questionable ones. Other than that, Minnesota is all good to go. Can the same be said about Chicago? Not entirely, with Ryan Bates and Elijah Hicks being ruled out, with Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift being the major question marks heading into the game. Even though DeAndre Swift did get a full practice and he is still having that questionable tag going into the game, and as well as Keenan Allen, after not practicing for the first 2 days and then being limited on Friday, he is also going to be questionable for this game. So two of the Bears' biggest weapons are questionable, and that goes well for Minnesota's chances if they do not play, because that is two major weapons that Caleb Williams will not have to throw to. And that's going to bring us into our second topic of the day, which is the defense wins championships and it wins games. So we know that Caleb Williams is going to be a bit of an issue. I know he struggled a bit as a rookie quarterback, but again, he is starting to find his groove in certain instances, and we got to make sure that we don't do that. And defensive coordinator Brian Flores touted Williams' mobility and off-script playmaking, which is what made him a near unanimous choice to be selected first in the 2024 NFL Draft. He can extend plays with his legs, throw deep on the run from awkward arm angles, and beat defenses with rhythm and timing. When he has sturdy protection and marries his feet with his eyes, the second to last part is key, because Williams has been overwhelmed by the blitz this year and has taken more sacks than the next most sacked quarterback. At 41 sacks, he's the only one behind him is CJ Stroud, who has been dropped 35 times. Williams is slotted 25th or worse against the blitz in completion rate at 58.9 and pass yards per attempt at 6.1, passer rating as well at 81.7, and times sacked at 18 among 36 qualified quarterback per next gen stats. And against Brian Flores in particular, rookie quarterbacks are only 1-7 against teams with Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator or head coach. Offenses with rookie signal callers average about 15.5 points scored and 3.8 sacks allowed per game. They have 9 giveaways and 7 total touchdowns. And what kind of makes this even crazier as well going forward too is that since 2000, rookie quarterbacks are only 4-16 against defenses ranked in the top 5 in points, in takeaways, and sacks in week 10 or later. Minnesota is 4th in 17 points per game, tied for first with 21 takeaways, and third with 35 in those categories. So Minnesota's defense has been rolling. They are no doubt a top 5 defense heading into this game, and they are hopefully going to suffocate Caleb Williams as far as pressure goes and make sure that he does not have time to throw or escape the pocket and make those crazy plays like we've seen other quarterbacks in the league make. Lamar Jackson has been doing that almost every week, and there's some other guys. Jaden Daniels has been lately the league on fire as well with his rookie campaign. So there are guys that Minnesota hasn't played too much this season. We haven't played too many escape artists, and yes, Caleb Williams has been struggling, but he is able to escape and extend plays, and that is always something that you cannot really game plan for, because when that happens, all bets are off as far as who's running which route, and it's just come back, get open, and find the open guy. Minnesota has to make sure that if they're blitzing, make sure guys get home, because if Williams is able to do that, he's guaranteed to have at least one person open, especially if it's a man blitz. So that's going to be something Minnesota will have to watch for. But what do you guys think about Minnesota's chances against this Bears offense with this defense that we have? Love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. But there is something else we want to look at in this game, and that is one key matchup. Vikings linebacker Blake Cashman versus Bears running back DeAndre Swift. So this is going to be something where Minnesota, last time they played Swift, Brian Flores kept it simple. He said the last time we saw Swift, it wasn't good. And it absolutely wasn't. On Monday Night Football, DeAndre Swift torched us with 12 runs of 5 or more yards in last year's Week 2 meeting in Philadelphia. Overall, he rushed 28 times for a career-high 175 yards. With 4:35 left in the fourth quarter of that game, Swift burst for 43 yards, essentially icing it, with the Vikings trailing 27-21 and eventually lost 34-28. It was a heartbreaking loss in a primetime game that Minnesota definitely needed to win last year. We didn't get that W, and it led to a lot of our slow start to the season. But hopefully things are different this season because we have a bit more of a refined defense. We went out and got some guys. We went out and we drafted some guys as well to hopefully bolster down this defense, especially against teams where they have a solid running back or a stout running back. We saw Kyren Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery all tear us to pieces this season, but when it got to Jonathan Taylor, we were able to bottle him up a little bit. When we got to our past few games, we've been able to bottle up the run fairly well as well. So if we're able to continue to do that, I do like our chances as far as coming out with a victory, especially if that running back isn't DeAndre Swift. I love those chances even more. If Swift is playing but Allen isn't, I still love our chances too, because now Williams has to rely on someone like DJ Moore, who is leading the team, but then go to Rome Odunze, who is a rookie, but he has been reliable, and Cole Kmet, who's a solid tight end. But it takes away one more weapon that Minnesota definitely needs to take away from this Bears offense that can be lethal if they have the right person calling the plays and the right person running the offense. But our defense is better. Our defense is going to be scarier, and it's a rookie quarterback, so we're going to be able to throw these schemes that for the past few weeks, these veteran quarterbacks have been able to read relatively well and know how to recognize it, know how to beat it, and know how to evade it when they get that pressure with good offensive lines. Thankfully, with this game, we're able to take advantage of all that. We can take advantage of a Bears offensive line. We can take advantage of rookie play calling. We can take advantage of rookie quarterback play, and we can take advantage of potentially hampered injuries to a offense that could be deadly if we allow them to get into a groove. But we just have to get into our groove first, set the tone, get a takeaway early, get a sack early, anything to get that juice going and make sure that Minnesota can just roll through this game and get a convincing win in Chicago and send those Bears home fans back home crying. And then looking at as well, Cashman ranks second on the Vikings defense with 7 tackles per game, with Ivan Pace also on there with 7.4 in first place, and already tied his career highs with 3 sacks and 5 passes defended in 7 appearances. And he did miss a few games with turf toe. Like it said there, we're returning from a bout with turf toe, which sidelined him in weeks 7 through 9. He's activated the full potential of Brian Flores' unit. Swift, meanwhile, has been a consistent force in Chicago's offense dating to September 29th when he helped the Bears defeat the LA Rams. In that span, Swift has rushed 118 yards for 118 times for 567 yards, averaging 4.8 yards per carry. So his per carry rate isn't the greatest. It is climbing a bit more each week, but he did have a solid few game stretch, but he has taken a bit of a dip with this Bears offense taking a bit of a struggle. But he still got a touchdown last game. He still is able to score, and he can be scary when he gets into space or is a little bit of a shifty Swifty. Hopefully, he will not be able to get going because stopping the run is going to put more of the game on Caleb Williams so we can get that pressure, get takeaways, get some sacks, set the tone, whether it's on our opening drive on offense, we score a touchdown, or if we can just get a takeaway or a sack, force them off the field on their first possession, and just win the turnover battle, win the time of possession, just drain the clock, keep the ball away from him. I know that's going to be something that Kevin O'Connell is going to have to bunker down in this game. If we're in a position where we can seal the game, whether it's on a 3rd and short, a 4th and short in enemy territory, or just keeping the ball away from him, we need to make sure that happens. There's been a lot of games this season where we've had the game in hand or a chance to just go out and seal the game, and we have not been able to do it, whether it's just poor execution in the plays or just poor play calling from the start that just dooms drives. So that's something Minnesota is going to have to correct heading into this game and making sure that does not happen, just like it did the past few weeks. There has been some slip-ups here and there where games where we should be winning convincingly, it comes down a little bit to the wire or makes fans sweat a little bit in the fourth quarter when we've gone through the past few seasons. We don't want to keep sweating the way we have been. So if we can just go out and get some more dominant wins like we did earlier in this season against the Bears team in a 1 o'clock window, that thankfully it's not a primetime window on Monday night or Sunday night, because when we go into Chicago on primetime, bad things tend to happen or those wins are a lot harder to come by. But for some reason, whenever it's in the 1 o'clock slot, we do end up coming away with a victory more often than not. So hopefully Sunday is another case of that. Hopefully we are back on here talking about another Vikings win, closing that gap with Detroit, gaining on them in the division, and hopefully we are able to steal the division from them before the end of the season is out. But what do you guys think about this Bears game? What do you guys think will be the final score? And what are your big, bold predictions for this game, whether it's on offense, defense, or even special teams? Maybe we see a fake punt, maybe we see a fake field goal. Who knows? The possibilities are endless with this offense, with Kevin O'Connell at the helm, and with this very gifted coaching core that we have. But what do you guys think down below? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But that's going to do it for this episode of Vikings Digest. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of the updates. But I've been your host, Griffen. Take care.